Hey, so it's me, Dead Serious, and this is Interesting Ways to Kill People, basically a YouTube channel for one. But there is a new deck out, and I am playing it, and I've named it I Feel Dirty, because it makes me feel dirty. Um, this deck is super fast and a little ridiculous. So there's a lot of variations of it. This is mine. Um, you'll notice it's 62 cards. Um, very few land, 20 land. Everything is 2 or 1 mana, with the exceptions of 2 cards that we want to get out, and we're probably going to get them out of our graveyard. And we're going to do that using Helping Hand. Return target creature with mana value 3 or less to your graveyard from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So 1 mana, very, very delicious card. And then Recommission, we're only going to carry 2 of those. Return target artifact or creature card with mana 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If a creature enters this way, it enters with an additional +1 counter on it, which is great, but these cards are already ridiculous on their own. And then everything else is about draw. Um, we've got 3 steps ahead, which is one of my favorite cards because you can also counter. You can counter a spell, but you can also copy a creature, and you can draw some cards. It's a pretty awesome card. Um, Sleight of hand. Look at top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library. So we want to start moving cards as quickly as possible. This is just removal that lets us remove a creature for 1, and or we can gift a tapped token creature fish, which is not going to be a big deal to to our opponent, and then they can we can remove whatever. Mostly it's for use on Forge. And Soul Partition, exile non-land permanent for as long as the card remains exiled. Its owner may play it. A spell played this way costs 2 or more to cast. I used to really poo-poo this card. Like, I don't think it's really that great. But for a deck like this that moves so fast, it's really good removal because by the time they get to 5 mana, you're just it's pointless. Discard 2 cards, then discard a card unless you attack this turn. We want to discard. Look at the top 3 cards of your hand. Put one of those cards in your hand, one of them in your graveyard. Again, we want some graveyard. Picklock Prankster is good because it lets us mill and it lets us pick up an instant, which is how we're going to get Recommission and Helping Hand into our hand. And then No More Lies for a little really easy counterspell removal. And then the 2 stars of the game are Haughty Djinn, which I've made a lot of decks with Haughty Djinn, and it makes sense in this deck. But when you bring in Abhorrent Oculus, it gets ridiculous. So Abhorrent Oculus by itself is a pretty hard card to play on its own because you have to exile 6 cards from your graveyard. So you have to have some mill happening. But with this whole ignore that part and just throw it out there for 1 or 2 mana, 5/5 flying, okay, by itself, that would be enough. But it also has Manifest Dread. To Manifest Dread, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other into your graveyard. So you can also use it to get other Oculuses into your graveyard and Haughty Djinns. And if you can also turn up cards for their mana costs at any time. So if you put an important Oculus on the game on the board and it's turned over, you can turn it back over for 3. You don't have to pay the whole 6 cards from your graveyard. So it's very fast. It works against mono red, which is pretty impressive. So let's play it. But it does make me feel dirty to play it. Mostly because I've been getting beaten by it all week, and I don't like to give in to the cards. I like to be. I'll bet you this guy's playing it or mono red. Let's see which one he's playing. And two land is fantastic in this. Um, Nothing to get anything into the graveyard with, so we're gonna mulligan. That's better. So again, 2 land, some removal, put some stuff into the graveyard. So we're going to keep this, and we are going to dump Picklock Prankster because we've already got the cards we want. And we've got one at 1 mana. We've already got instant removal, which is pretty awesome. So what's he playing? Let's see. Silent Hill Creeper can't be blocked. Whenever Silent Hall Creeper deals combat damage to a player, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Put 2+ draw a card. Becomes a copy of another target creature you control. It's a pretty cool card. Sorry, man, I don't know that card. I had to read it. You know what? I'm going to put it back in your hand, though, because I'm a jerk. And so we'll do that, and then we're going to draw 2 cards, and we're going to discard Haughty Djinn, which we can put on the table next turn. Now, he won't be too juicy. I think he's only going to be at 2, because his power comes from how many, or sorry, 3, because we're going to play this, put Haughty Djinn out, and he's going to be at 3/4, which is pretty good. Maybe more, because let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, good. We put so we've got a Abhorrent Oculus in our graveyard, which is awesome because we've got another helping hand. So here we are, turn 2, 3/4 flying creature out there. Another land. 3 land in this deck is ridiculous. We play this. Out comes the Abhorrent. It does a dread on your turn, which is dumb. Let's play this, even though we could make the Haughty Djinn fatter. I just want to see some. There's the dread. So now 2 cards. We got a choice. Doesn't really matter. Let's take the land. Doesn't really matter. We're not going to untap it or flip it or whatever. And so now he's looking at 10 damage flying. Like, what can you do? Like, what can you do against this deck? It is so fast. Like, I've been playing this I thought it was very fast. I thought it was a very fast removal deck. In fact, I'll play it after this. I thought it was very fast. And it was doing all right against mono red, which is really my goal, right? I was like, okay, if I can survive mono red and black, there's a lot of mono black that's really aggressive. It's a lot of discard, and I was like, if I can survive these 2, I'm pretty good. And I was doing pretty good. And I was moving up the ladder. And all of a sudden, I started seeing these blue-white decks with this whole like Oculus thing out of nowhere, and I was like, there's nothing you can do. So again, we're set up. We've got it. We've got the card that gets the Oculus into the graveyard, and we've got the card that gets the Oculus out of the graveyard. So it's so fast. And we've got No More Lies and a Picklock Prankster if we to which we'll use probably, but we'll see. Okay, so he's black. That means he might have some. He might be okay. Depends on how much removal he has, but we can keep bringing stuff back. So the card we're going to discard, of course, is the Oculus. So the Oculus is in the graveyard. We're going to bring it back next turn. A little removal. Let's see. Let's see if we see some discard. Oh, black white or black blue. What do you bring? Oh, the bat. If I were you, I would definitely get rid of that helping hand. Let's see what he does. If he gets rid of the helping hand, I'm gonna send him back, pull it back into my. Oh yeah, I guess that's the only choice he really had. So helping hand. Out comes the Oculus, tapped, but it's gonna do its dread, and I'm gonna sit there and with my No More Lies ready to be used. What can you do? It's a dumb, stupid card. So No More Lies. That's why we have it. Get rid of you, and it doesn't really matter. So we have 7 up. He's got 1, 3 cards in, or 3 turns in. And this is the point where you question why you play Magic. Why do I play this game? Like, why aren't I just like playing a nice FPS? See, that's what happened. And so he quits because like, what are you gonna do? Because that's crazy. That deck is crazy. Like it's easy to build, mind you. It does have four mystics, um, so it's this abhorrent Oculus is it's gonna eat up your or mythics, not mystics, mythics. It's gonna eat up your cards, but everything else is pretty reasonable. A lot of uncommons, um, and very few rares really, so very easy to build. And it's going to dominate the meta for a while for sure. So here's what I have been playing here. I'm going to play my focused version, which I haven't actually really played. What am I doing? Let's play this again. Do that, which I haven't really played. Um, but really, it's I should show you the deck. So really, its goal is to just do a lot of removal until you can get out Ubric's Forge and just let the Forge kill them. Now, it's got a requisition raid that's to get rid of enchantments and artifacts like Forge. It's got songs of Tatents. Lets you build a lot of rats. This card looks weak, but like you get this on you throw this down on turn 4 with 4 mana, you get 3. You can just keep attacking, and then if you pair it with War Leader's Call or Caretaker's Talent, where you can get tokens up to 2+2, suddenly it's a really big deal. So it's good. For Get Lost, because we're focusing on removal on this one. Removal, removal, removal. Lightning Helix, removal and life. Already went through Caretaker's Talent. We're using it to get some more copies of tokens out there, and get to the +2/+2. That's the magical place we want to be. Kutzel's Flanker. This guy is good for removing graveyards, and because of the deck that I was just playing, this is what he's in there for. He's to get rid of that. Split Up, which is one of my new favorite cards. So it's deck wipe, but only tapped or untapped creatures. So, but for 3, it is amazing. Uh, Ubis Forge, you can't go wrong with Forge. War Leader's Call, again, that's to fatten up Forge and do some damage that way, and hopefully get a combo going with Songs of Tense. Um, no Witness, again, board wipe. And then Season of the Burrow, which you can use for a bunch of things. Exiling a non-land permanent is pretty awesome, even though the opponent gets a card. Who cares? Or you can put out 5 rabbits. Again, you can that can take advantage of a bunch of different cards in here. Or you can return a permanent with a indestructible counter on it, as long as it's 3 or less, which is pretty much all of the permanents we have. So that lets me bring back either Forge or War Leader's Call or Caretaker's Talent if I so choose. I could bring back Kutzel, I guess, but that's not what I ever want to do. So let's see what happens. I'll bet you we see that blue-white deck. Let's see. Kaiser Soze. He's got the same taste as I do in avatars. This is not a great pull, but I'm going to go for it. Oh, we're red. What does that mean? Or are we red black? Oh, we're red green. Forge early on is always nice on turn 3. I mean, honestly, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So let's see what have you got there, son? What have you brought to the table today? First strike, haste, some draw. I don't care. You know what? I could kill you, but I'd rather get out the War Leader's Call. now it's pretty much over unless he's got artifact removal, which is possible. He's got red and green. It's a pretty healthy set for artifact removal. Who cares? You attack for 2. More land. Yay. Whiteboard. See, it's these. There's these weird new creatures where if they die, they come back as an art or as an enchantment. Which actually I shouldn't say weird. It's actually I really like the mechanic. But another reason to carry around these kill these enchantment or artifact cards because there's a lot of that going around. What's this card do? Patchwork Beast. You can't attack or block unless there are 4 or more card types in your graveyard. And he gets to mill a card. Innkeeper's Talent. So he can. It's a +1/+1 generator. But you can't attack or block. And that's game. Unless he's got removal. Oh, he's got removal. So just do that. Well, let's throw out a fish. Mill your card. There is no escape. We have you. The pain machine is working. Come on, man. You know you want to play a card for me. There you go. I know that was hard. What'd you play? The spell can't be countered. Uh-oh. 8/6. That's a big card. Okay, so we'll remove you. Your other eye still can't block. So pretty good. Does the job, but unfortunately, this cannot stand up to that white blue deck, which is going to really it's going to be there's going to be a lot of that going around. So anyway, if you watch this and stuff and whatever's enjoys.